man, what are you doing?
Good morning everyone and welcome to a new video on the channel. It is Saturday the 6th of September 2025. It is about 7 o'clock in the morning and today we're heading down to Surrey where it is Woking versus Gateshead in the National League. So I'm in Woking, another trek, but compared with the last away game it feels like I've basically just travelled 2 minutes round the corner. But anyway, going into this afternoon's game, Woking are currently in 21st place in the National League table, which is the last relegation spot. 1 win, 2 draws and 3 defeats from their opening 6 games has them in that position, although they are actually unbeaten in the last 3 games. Obviously the 2 draws coming at home against York and away against Halifax, while the win was away at Morecambe. Yes, obviously you can say obviously the situation that Morecambe are in at the minute, a completely new squad, completely new manager, everyone's just kind of getting used to each other, but at the same time you've still got a job to do when you face them. And the results against York and against Halifax, I think they're draws that I think most teams in this league would gladly take throughout the course of a season. I know the Halifax one was maybe a little bit frustrating for them, given the manner of it, conceding an injury time, but it does seem as though slowly but surely they are getting things together. I think Neil Ardley is a safe pair of hands for this division, and it was actually Woking's last game against us that paved the way for him coming here. Of course, our 4-0 win against me at the International Stadium back in December ultimately cost Michael Doyle his job. Then he obviously came in, steadied the ship a little bit, kept them up, and yeah, here we are facing them today. And we're coming into this game in 9th place now in the National League table, following that extremely disappointing 2-0 loss at home to Altrincham the other night. And I think the frustrating thing, like above all else in these first few games, has been we'll have, you know, moments, halves or even full games where we go and really set the standard, but then those standards just seem to drop pretty quickly. And it's obviously happened 3 times this season where we've been beaten, but we've been beaten by barely even competing. And I know throughout the course of the season we are going to lose games. Let's be realistic about it. Like, we know where we are as a club just now, but I would like it if we could at least have a go in every game. I think there's been quite a few occasions already this season where it's just taking the opposition just one opportunity, which they don't even necessarily need to score, and our heads just seem to drop, and like the opposition just have a bit of a free for all. Like, we really need to get that out of our system. If you have a little bit of a setback, you wake up and you make sure that you recover from it, and you kind of learn from it as the game progresses. But one thing that does have to be said is that we do seem to perform better away from home than what we do at the International Stadium, and it's been like that for quite a few years now, and I really can't put my finger on why. It just seems to be like, no matter who the manager is, like what players have been in the team or whatever, we seem to save our best stuff for the road, and I hope that does continue today. This is the first of 2 consecutive away games, back down south next weekend to face Wealdstone, so neither of them are going to be easy games, but you know what, I think we're probably coming down here with a bit of a point to prove after the other night. I think the team took some deserved criticism, it has to be said, but from a supporter's perspective, I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of glad that next 2 games are away, because I just don't enjoy going to the International Stadium at this moment in time. There's just absolutely no matchday experience, no atmosphere. Attendance is obviously on the floor, and those that are in attendance, like very few of them actually look like they're genuinely enjoying themselves. Whereas you come to these away games, like you always feel up for it. There's always a kind of much more positive feeling around it, and I think that maybe rubs off on the players as well, like you know what I mean, because I think that kind of vibe that they may be getting from the away end, even though there's not really that many of us in it, I think that maybe helps them kind of confidence wise, whereas at home games it just feels like we're going into them really nervous, you know what I mean, and I think that could be a bit of a factor in it. But then again, football's a weird game, isn't it? As we say, like one week you could be putting 4 or 5 past top of the league, but then the next week the bottom of the league are putting 4 or 5 past you, where you can just never tell with this division. But it's going to be a tricky test for us today, but one in which we need to show some kind of response from the other night. So let's head on down to the Kingfield Stadium and find out how it all unfolds. So the team's warming up at Gateshead, getting right in front of us. Going to be in the sky blue away strip this afternoon, and walking and getting ready in the distance going to be in their usual red and white. Anyway, I'll see you when the players are coming out of the tunnel and ready to start the match. And interestingly enough, in the starting lineup for Gateshead this afternoon, you see him right there. That is our new signing, Curtis Edwards, central midfielder, most recently at Notts County. Oh, no way. Oh! We're getting fought off on the street. Oh, is it? What a man. Oh, we're going to do that. Oh, what are you doing? Give me all the chair.
Yeah, but I'm just filming everything.
Avoidable goal again. totally avoidable yet again. It's beyond embarrassing at this point. I'll open again. This is an absolute disgrace. Half-time walking to Gateshead 0. Where do you even start with that? Once again, it's been absolutely appalling, and there's no other word to describe it. Just yet again, far too easy for Woking, who could so easily be 4 or 5-0 up, and we are extremely lucky that this game is, somewhat within reach. But the way it's been going so far, I just can't. I can't for the life of me see us getting back into this game. Yes, we've had a lot of the ball and that kind of thing, but really Woking have been kind of more than happy to let us have it because we've been that ineffective with it. Obviously the other week at Rochdale we're chanting sideways and backwards everywhere we go, which certain members of the club didn't approve of, but while obviously a lot of chants here in football aren't strictly true, and that's just kind of nature of them. You can't even say that one's even wrong because that's literally all it's been in the first half. Just absolutely no conviction in the final third, and defensively, wow. I actually feel sorry for Tiernan Brooks. Obviously, because since he's come back into the team, he's been totally exposed on so many occasions, and what is he meant to do? Genuinely, what is he meant to do? It's just so easy to create chances against us, and nothing's changing. No matter how many times we say, "Oh, we need to change it," nothing gets changed. And I think the fact of the matter is, obviously, we've been talking about having to strengthen in midfield. Really, we need to start strengthening in defence. It's that straightforward. I know there's a couple of players out at the minute, but that's besides the point. Even when those players are in, it was still the same old story. So I think personally, I think the improvements we need to make to this team have to start from the back going forwards.
Their goal for Woking in the 61st minute, scored by number 6, Jamie Andrews.
So we're not getting back.
Fourth goal for Woking in the 73rd minute, his first for the club, number 12, Joshua Seeley.
20 goals in 7 games. We've had a shot on target. Genuinely, Tiernan Brooks has kept the score down.
Woking, scored in the 89th minute by number 12, Joshua Seeley. The fourth official has indicated a minimum of 7 minutes of added time.
You heard the man. We're not just ending now. Full-time Woking 5, Gateshead 0. I've been maybe to some degree lucky that today the social aspect of it was absolutely top drawer, and that was one of the things I was kind of alluding to before the game in the whole home games versus away games factor, and that's maybe helped me sort of helped with the calming down process a little bit after that. But that's not to say that I don't have some strong opinions on what I've seen there today, and I think my views are I'm certainly not the only one that feels this way, and that was absolutely reflected in the fact that usually after a game, win, lose or draw, no matter like how good or bad or whatever the performance was, you'd always get the fans going towards the barriers to shake the players' hands, and that whole thing, that's not so the fans can thank the players, that's so that the players can thank the fans. But I think collectively we made our point today, and that is truthfully I think it needed making. It was such a strange situation because I think obviously you had David Ferguson coming over, he was holding his hands up, trying his best to apologise. Then Kenton Richardson came over shortly after he did. Then obviously he was followed by the rest of the team. I think there was one or two that genuinely wanted to come over and say something in all fairness, but I don't know if they were instructed not to, because I don't know if maybe the fans were coming across a little bit confrontational, but I did get to have a good chat with Jacob Butterfield after the game. He was very he listened to what I had to say. I mean, it was very civil. I didn't shout and scream at him or anything like that. I just said, look, we keep hearing over and over again, we need to improve in this there, in that area, but just nothing ever happened. I made my point about conceding a chance, then heads just dropping, how easily we're giving goals away, and he seemed to he seemed to agree with pretty much everything said. I mean, he didn't say a massive deal himself, which I can totally understand that. He is the club's assistant manager. He's still classified as a player, and I think while we're on that front, hopefully when he comes back into the side, him, Terrell Newton, Joe Grayson, those kinds of players, we will see something of a difference. But it was absolutely atrocious today. There's no other way of putting it. I mean, Woking, I'm not discrediting them in any way, shape or form. They were clinical all afternoon, but the fact of the matter is, it was just so easy for them to get round our defence, to get chances away, and you compare it to that Dagenham game last year where we lost 7-1. It's completely and utterly chalk and cheese. The ironic thing about that Dagenham game last year was that was one of their stand-up players that day was actually their goalkeeper. It was just a case of anything that we were hitting just wasn't going in, whereas anything that they hit just seemed to be going in. Whereas today, it was genuinely the case, a little bit like Rochdale a few weeks ago, where we've got our goalkeepers to thank for keeping the score down, and I feel sorry for the goalkeepers at the minute, because they are being so exposed by what's in front of them, and as I said, there's only X amount that they can actually do. I don't think any of the goals today were really Tiernan Brooks' fault, and that's been the case since he's come back into the side. It's just been you think how many of the goals that we've conceded this year have been genuinely avoidable, and that was you could make a case for pretty much all of them today. Just players not picking up whoever they're supposed to be marking, just players just ghosting in to get the shots off far too easily. It was just absolutely awful from start to finish. Absolutely nowhere near the standard of this division, and obviously I made those points the other night about I could genuinely see us just going into free fall, and on the back of that today, who is there that could possibly disagree with that? But I think that stands that the fact the fans made it full time there, that has to hit home for the players, and it has to hit home bloody hard, I tell you now, because there's been some pretty poor performances where we've still gone over, and shook the hands, tried to get a heads up, but I think that was pretty telling today. Because people at the end of the day, they've spent good money to travel all the way down there. A third pretty long trek in a space of however many weeks it is since the season started. Honestly, I don't mind getting beat if it's a case of you're just completely and utterly outclassed by a team that are just simply better than you, or it's a little bit of bad luck, or it's just a moment of genuine quality to separate the sides. But that today, and obviously Wednesday night, just all the defeats so far. I mean, yes, fair enough. I'm not expecting us to be anywhere near the likes of Southend and Rochdale in the league table, but that today was completely and utterly unacceptable, and I'm not going to try and pretend otherwise. If there were any positives today, and I think you really are kind of scraping a barrel here. I thought the new lad Gateshead, I thought he looked decent. I thought some of the link-up play between him and Kyle Hurst in the second half was pretty good. I thought, Tiernan Brooks, again, like at Yeovil, is starting to look like the Tiernan Brooks of old, which creates a little bit of competition for that goalkeeping spot, but maybe it is healthy competition. It reminds me a little bit of that season when it would seem to maybe fluctuate a little bit between Dan Hanford and James Montgomery, where you'd have maybe a bit of a spell of games where Dan Hanford would be playing, then it'd flip to James Montgomery and so on and so forth. It reminds me a little bit of that, but I think I feel a bit sorry for Frank Noble as well, because he looks so isolated up top, but you can see he is genuinely grafting, but he's just not getting the service or anything like that. But I mean, yes, the point about the likes of Terrell Newton, Jacob Butterfield, Dom Telford, those kinds of players coming back into the team making a difference. Yes, it's true to a degree, but I think tactically and in terms of mentality, like something has to. That's the first and foremost that has to change. I do still feel as though we need reinforcements in defensive areas. I will say that much, and I think that's now abundantly clear. We've been obviously going on and about midfield, but defensively it's just been an absolute shambles. And the fact we've conceded 21 goals in 7 games. You do the maths. It's absolutely atrocious, and that quite simply should not be happening. So I think the whole events of today have got to hit everyone hard, and we've got to. Got to see a serious response and a serious improvement next week at Wealdstone, which again is not going to be an easy game against a part-time side that'll certainly graft. They've started okay to this season, being competitive in every game, which is more than what you can say about us. So things have got to change. It's as simple as that. But that is that for this video, and I'll be back. I'll be back tomorrow, and it's the first women's game of the season. It's from the Women's FA Cup. It is Northallerton Town versus Carlisle United. So until then, take care. Cheers for watching. See you later.